Hello, people. Today I have with us the Angela, and this is from the Hunter's Poem line from Suyata. This is HP002. The other one was, the HP001 was Arya. Now, the Hunter's Poem line doesn't have much of a write-up, but it does mention, I'll put it on the screen real fast so you can read it, about these hunters being selected and issued a badge. That Angela here is a low altitude specialist, so that is why she includes these wings. And apparently that these are wings from a mechanical pterodactyl, which is very interesting, stripped of its skin and flesh, leaving only behind its alloyed bones. And that enables her to fly with these unusual wings. Very cool. I really like the way that looks. The other thing is that this kit does include 2 bodies. I will show you that in just a second. But Angela here is ready for battle with her giant bow and her Gatling gun. Seems to be a theme for the kits that I've been building, that they include Gatling guns. Is very fun. I am having a lot of fun with that. But in addition to the Gatling guns you see here, there's another one. And she also includes another bow. So if you wanted to use that bow, you can. These also detach and become oversized blades, as they are called in the manual. Really cool looking sword. So you have those options as well. Really cool features for this gal, in my opinion. She also includes some mechanical claws. In case these 2 weapons weren't enough, you can attach these on the same subarms as you would with the others, or you can reconfigure her mecha to include 4 arms instead of the 2 wings, and you can use the claws in a couple of weapons as well. You can also swap out the thigh pads here for some with a 3mm peg, and some of the weapons will peg into that. So you have a lot of options. In my opinion, I really like these. They are really cool looking. I put the pink gem inside, but as you can tell, there are clear parts for a lighter purple color, and everything that you see in pink can be reproduced in purple as well. And so as these can also be reproduced in pink. So it's something really cool that they included a lot of extras for your consideration. So like I said, she does come with an additional body. I'm going to scoot her back real fast and show you the bear form. So like the ATK girl and some of the MS General, you do get a bear form instead of the armored. And she is a little awkward. She is based on the same body plan as the Hunter's Poem Arya's bear body. And that means that these here are quite loose. But everything else has been tightened up. In my opinion, this is much better than what you saw in the Arya. So it actually really did away with a lot of the downfalls for that kit. They do use some of the same sprue, but most of it, including the legs and these upper arms here, aren't reproduced. Or the lower arms here. The upper is the same as Arya, which is why you have this wonky articulation. That said, she is really nice, and you do get the options to be to turn. Oop. Let's get her to stand up. You do get options to change the hairstyles out. So you can see she's not really apparent, but there is white hair under there, and you do get the styles in white hair and in the brown. Depending on which one you want to use the helmeted features on. The other thing is it does include 3 face plates that are printed. So you get this one here, this really smiley, cute one, and this really very happy one. You also get a more aggressive one, as seen here. In addition to that, you also get the 3 same face plates represented in an unprinted form. So if you wanted to do your own features, you can do that as well. Angela also has an optional back part So if you wanted to use a peg, you can do that as well. That is simply the part that you see at her back. I didn't put the hole there, so she is solidly built. Before I go ahead and show you the articulation on these girls, they also feature a gryfalcon, something like that, which is a very cute little bird pet. Just like the other hunter's poem included the dog, this one does include a little pet bird. This one actually can mount to the back of Angela here and become a little set of wings for her if you don't want to choose the large setup, or if it's taking up too much space on your shelf, which it very well might with those huge wings. So while he doesn't have a name, he does have some nice features. He has articulated legs, an articulated tail. You know, everything folds up. It's pretty nice. I really like the way it looks. It is a nice camera at the end here, so it's obviously a spotter for her. So let's go ahead and take the bare body here, and we're going to show us some articulation. You can see, obviously this one here is a little wonky, but we're going to start with the head. Just like most of them, and comes with a rocking ball jointed section up at the top, so you can move that a little bit up there at the top there, just like you would any other kit. That also rocks back and forth on that hinge on the neck. There is some up and down movement inside the torso or the chest here. The ball jointed elbow can move 360 degrees and up and down as you would with most of the other Mecha Musume model kits. This one obviously spins out of control and crazy, but you can do a lot of different poses with that. There's a little bean inside here that lets you have 2 points of articulation, which does afford a little bit more than you usually get with these girls. The wrist pin, being in tan, is a little ugly, but it does work just as most wrist pins do. The upper torso has a pin that goes up into the lower torso, and the nice torso section does have some articulation as well. To this bottom T, the underwear snap together real tightly and actually hold the T-bar inside here. You can see this joint is a little bit loose. That is because this is a polycap here, and it isn't exactly meant to fit the way it is designed. I think there's not enough air escaping from that joint, so it actually pushes it out just a hair. The leg is just a simple cylinder inside there, so you can get that articulation that you need in and out, but it does lack the pop out that some of the Megami devices have. The normal 4-part or a 3-part knee connection is 2 sandwich put together pieces with the armor bit over the top, just like you normally see with these model kit girls. And you see there is a normal peg with a simple hinge joint there. This slides in and can rock any direction that you'd like. The toe is simple as well, just a simple hinge with a peg that is smashed between those 2 parts. Very simple, but very effective, and it is nice to have an extra body for a girl. I definitely want to get her something to wear because she doesn't even have shoes. Moving on to the armored form, you can see that her helmet is holding her in place on the backpack with one of these sub arms. It also includes that little bun there. You do get one in brown as well. So instead of this wild windblown look, you can use the bun, which would make sense if you're going flying. But you do have the same exact articulation up in the neck, if you want to remove that. This is a helmet, it just pops right off, but there is a peg at the top of the head. Let me show you what that looks like. Just like this, and that's where the helmet is sitting onto. It isn't that clutched, which is why they include that sub-arm system to hold that in place. The arm section is very similar to the other Angela's body. You know, you get a lot of articulation out of the arm. You can move them up and down, but the armor does get in the way a lot. There is the similar bean setup inside here with the 2 ports, one in the other, combining to form a really nice articulation set, even with this heavy armor. As you can see, you can fold it up quite a bit. Like I said, the purple inside this thing can be exchanged for pink if you'd like to. I wanted to have the contrast with the wings, and I really do like the way the wings look in pink. Same system inside here. You have a peg that goes up into a ball up or port at the top, and you have the same T-bar across the bottom. These are the same thighs, so they have the same articulation. The knees, however, are slightly different. They're a heavier duty mark. Let's see if I can do that without messing everything up. As you can see, she is quite capable of lifting her leg. But it does have a similar system where there is the two parts smushed together and then an armored bit that goes in the front. So she does have quite a lot of motion there. Her foot is a little bit of a weak point here. I think they drilled the hole a little bit too large, but that's not a problem. You could definitely add some friction modifier or some glue and get that back into place. She did lose the toe articulation, but I don't think that's necessary with these large boots. The backpack system has many, many articulation points. So obviously you have this set here, which helps her to move up and down, back and forth on her head. I would try to refrain from moving that one a bit, but it does articulate if you need it to. These two can rotate in their socket here, up and down. So it's a little odd, but up and down like this. That does give you access to all the articulation points on this set here. Oops. You get some flaps, and you get one set of rotation right here at each wing. So quite a lot going on with the wings. A lot of fun. And they can fold up pretty tightly because they aren't terribly thick. Oop. Went ahead and pulled her out of there. Sorry, Angela. Let's put you back in. There we go. The lower system here uses the same set of articulation as the upper, so you can move that up and down just a hair, as you see. And then each one of these has two polycaps smashed between these guys, and you can move those as you like. There's also a point of articulation between each unit, so you can turn them in different directions to get another axis. And those are in 3mm, so you can use those as you'd like to attach any MSG parts, 30-minute mission stuff, anything you'd like that usually use 3mm ports. This turbine actually moves up and down. Not too much, but obviously if you need to move it out of the way, you can. And then these are actually jointed as well. Just a simple hinge, but to get the access to that huge fan, that's how you do it. Something really cool about that big fan. I like the way that looks. It does not articulate as freewheeling. It's just if you want to turn it, you can. One of those things. So that's her. Very similar to the unarmored form. You can see I leave her in quite a mess when I finish playing with the articulation. The weapons, however, are not very articulated. You wouldn't think they would be too, but there is nothing really here that moves. You can open this just a hair, like a pair of scissors. I think if you swap them around, it would have more of an effect, but I think this is the way you're meant to have it. So there's that. And if you paid attention, you can see that that's actually the same weapon as the Gatling gun at the back, just a different attachment point at the front. So you can tell here that they are designed to be interchangeable. And that indeed they are. Pretty nifty, not very purposeful. They give you enough parts to make all of them at once, so you're welcome to interchange them if you'd like, but there isn't really a need for it. And no No articulation on the Gatling gun either. This doesn't rotate or anything like that. Just something neat to have. It's a very simple version of a Gatling. These, however, do have articulation. As you can see, the claws move out on these fingers, and then the fingers can actually move as well. So you can move those as you'd like to make it look more intimidating or a little bit more fierce, I'd say. Not so much intimidating, but fierce. It looks more like a claw than this does. Pretty cool, though. There isn't any articulation in here just besides the rotation, so if you want to move that, you can. Not really a point to it, though. Just something cool to have. I think they look really great at the end of the sub-arms. There is another set of sub-arms. Like I said, you can swap them out for the wings. And those will attach to, just like these ones do, the upper wing section, so you can have claws. I do these ones on the bottom, and then the weapons at the top. So you can switch out those wings. I would put the Gryphalcon in the back, so you'd have the small wing still, and that would be in place of the big wing setup, and then have the claws there. You can do like what they do in the box art and just swap out the weapons period for these claws, and that would be a nice setup too. One of the last things to include in this setup is the really cool Hunter's Poem badge on the top of the stand there. And lastly but not leastly, they do include a very small decal sheet. Let me show you what that looks like. I was very surprised at the size of it, considering they normally give you quite a lot with the other sets. I can't take that off. Just a set of facial expressions, some little markings, and M2198 on there. Very interesting number. I don't know what that means. But it is interesting to me that the write-up mentioned a mechanical pterodactyl. And the reason I think that's interesting, because I don't remember if I showed you, but on my mechanical atlas here, as you see, it's pretty close there. Who's that? It's a little pterodactyl. Ah, maybe they're going to come out with one. I'm hoping they do. That'd be really cool. But the next one I think that's coming out for the mechanical, or the Marvelous Museum, is the king crab, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, that's Angela. That's a really interesting kit. Very cool, very simple to build. The instructions weren't anything to write home about. I usually show off if there's something outstanding inside the booklet, but they do include that little write-up that I gave you right here. Some pictures of what you have going to Hare's colors, mechanical Gyrfalcon, the thruster, everything like that. And at the back, they include a picture of the next one that came out, which is the Fafnir. I don't have her yet, but I definitely need to get her. So overall, a really cool kit. I definitely recommend it. If you buy it early, they actually include a copy of Arya's motorcycle, which I do actually have. I just haven't built it, in a transparent color, which I'm not sure how I'm going to like building that. But it is a really cool add-on. I got her for $30, and I've seen her as far as $100 online. So I hope you don't pay $100 for it if you're after her, but I think $50 is more worth the while. There are two girls in it. Something really cool about getting two bodies in your kit. I really like that. But that said, I found it in China and shipped it over to me through a proxy buyer. So that wasn't an easy thing to do, and it took a very long time to get here. So if you're patient and you can do that, great. Let me know in the comments and I can try to help you do that. But honestly, it's a little bit difficult, and shipping from China is getting really expensive, so be careful with that. I got 6 kits for super cheap. but paid $130 for shipping. So it might not be worth a while to do. But with all that said, I really love this kit. I definitely recommend her. She is worth every penny I paid for her, and more. So I hope if you guys get her, you'll like her too. But with that, I will say goodbye. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate every last one of you. And I will see you guys next time. Or you'll see me, but more than likely you'll see my stuff. Bye-bye.